discussion part of the presentation. So just to recap from what have been discussed in the past three tutorials. There are different types of conic sections, namely a circle, a parabola, a ellipse, and a hyperbola. And with that, let's first try to assess what is a circle. So, by definition, a circle is a conic section where it is a locus of a point that moves at a constant distance from a fixed point called the center. Okay, so by that definition, the corresponding standard equation for that is the quantity x minus h, quantity squared, plus the quantity y minus k, quantity squared, is equal to r squared, wherein x and h is the center of the circle, while r is the length of the radius of the said circle. So let's try to assess this problem. So the first problem asks us to find the equation of the circle given that its center is located at point 2, negative 3, while its radius has a length of 4 units. So with that, based on our definition earlier regarding the standard equation of a circle, we know that HK is the point of the center. So thus, 2 and negative 3 would correspond to the point HK. HK right here. Okay, so how can we try to divide them? Well, this is how it goes. So as you can see here, the center is at 2, negative 3. So that means 2 would be the H. Since if you remember, a coordinate corresponds to parenthesis, then xy, okay? Or in our case, hk. So with that, the k corresponds to negative 3. And the radius r is 4. So let's try to substitute those values to our standard equation. By substitution, we can have the quantity of x minus 2 squared plus the quantity of y minus negative 3 squared is equal to 4 squared. So guys, it is important to note na when we try to substitute, we should also substitute the sign corresponding to that point or to that coordinate. So as you can see in here, we copy the positive 2, we copy the negative 3, so that the sign convention for our final equation um, for would be accurate. Yeah, rather. Okay? So when we try to simplify this, we'll have x minus 2 squared plus y plus 3 squared is equal to 16. And that is the standard equation for the circle having a center at point 2, negative 3 and the radius of 4 units. And now, let's move on to another conic section which is the parabola. So, as we know, a parabola is a locus of a point that moves in a plane such that its distance from a fixed point equals its distance from a fixed line. So, by convention, the standard equation for a parabola goes like this: x minus h quantity squared is equal to 4a y minus k. This is an upward parabola. Meanwhile, here, x minus h squared is equals to negative 4a y minus k is, if I'm not mistaken, is a downward parabola. Okay, so now, let's try to solve a problem regarding this conic section. So the second sample problem asks us to find the equation of the parabola given that the vertex of the parabola is negative 4, 3, while its focus is located at the point in the coordinate negative 4, 1. So first, let's just try to graph this given parabola. So first, let's use the coordinate system, or the Cartesian coordinate plane. So we'll just have to plot first the vertex and the focus. Ayan, as you can see in here. After we've plot them, the next thing to do is we try to substitute or to assess the direction of the parabola. Since when we look at this graph, we see that the vertex is on the top of the focus. So that means the parabola is in downward direction. Kasi 'di ba ang focus is enclosed inside the the area or the area that is um on the scope in the scope of the parabola itself. So when we try to graph that, we'll have a downward. And then now, yan, draw a graph using the given values. And then now we'll try to solve for the main equation of the parabola. So based on our graph, we can see that the value of A is the absolute value of 2. Okay? Kasi A is a unit of length. Tandaan natin yan. So that means A is always positive. And then next is and the value of A. And then next we'll try to substitute what we have here. So again, this corresponds to H, this corresponds to K, while this corresponds to the focus. And the focus is not directly substitute cannot be directly substitute to the standard equation of a parabola. So by substitution, we'll have x minus the quantity of x minus negative 4 squared is equal to negative 4 times 2 times y minus 3. Okay? So bakit negative 4 ang ginamit natin? It is because primarily as we've observed in our graph here, the parabola is going downward. So thus, negative yung gagamitin natin. Okay? So there. After when we try to simplify the equation, we'll have x plus 4 squared is equals to negative 8 times the quantity y minus 3. And that is the standard equation for the given parabola on our problem. So next, let's try to solve naman this. A parabola, by the same definition, the standard equation of a parabola can be what do you call this? Can be transformed when the parabola goes sidewards or horizontally. Yung kanyang opening ay horizontal. So with that, ang nag-change ng position yung parentheses natin na y minus k and x minus h. As you can see here, napunta si y minus k on the left side and it became squared, while the x minus h is transported or nilipat on the right side without its square. So again, likewise, when we treat negative value of negative 4 as a sign that it is opposite of what is the traditional. And in our case, the positive is on the right, while the negative one is opening towards the left side. So let's try to solve this. Find the equation of the parabola given that v is equal, the vertex is at 3, negative 3, 2, while its focus is at 4, 2. Okay? So by first looking at these values, mapapansin kagad natin kung ano ba yung opening ng ating parabola. Let's try to plot them. So as you can see here, ito yung ating vertex and ito yung ating focus. And as we know, what I've discussed earlier, na ang focus is always encompassed inside the area of the parabola. So that means ganon yung kanyang magiging graph. Okay? Opening siya to the right. So since opening siya to the right, ang ating gagamitin ay ito. Positive yung ating 4A. Okay? By substitution, similar din pala dito, we can get the A. Okay? We can get the A or the length of this. Ito, the length of this. To be, maminus lang natin. 4 minus 3 is equal to 1. Okay? That's the A. Kasi ito, this is the half of the latus rectum, which is 2A. And so the whole latus rectum, which is the 4A, corresponds to this part. Okay? A line na mag-intersect sa ating focus. That is the latus rectum of the parabola na diniscuss from our previous bridge tutorial. Okay, so ayan, a is equals to 1 as we've mentioned, 4 minus 3. So subtract lang natin is equal to 1. And then, let's try to substitute lang. Y minus 2 squared is equal to 4, which is, eto, copy lang natin to. Times lang natin yung na-solve natin na a, which is 1, and then times by x minus 3. So, by simplifying, we'll have y minus 2 squared is equals to 4x minus 3. And this is the standard equation of our given parabola.